Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to Garage Geek. I feel like I'm a little bit unprepared. I'm just jumping in, but I had to start this at a certain point. So I hope everyone had a great week. Mine wasn't so great. I got sick in the middle of the week. I don't know what it was. Some kind of minor flu. Like I had some throat pain, back aches, and just general lethargia, but I did not want to take off work because we are doing state testing, and it's a very important time of the year. Like the students, you really do have to keep them quiet and behaved so that as many students as possible can do well on the test. And if there's a sub there, who knows what's going to happen. So I just felt I couldn't take off work even though I really needed to, but I got through the week. That was good. I've got my notes here. So we're going to start with a little bit of news. So an author, Paul Auster, died, I think, early in the week. So Paul Auster is an author. I think I've read 2 of his books, but he's a really good writer. I really do need to read more of his writing. And of course, it's a shame, but yeah, I just really need to check out more of his writing. And there was also at least one movie made from one of his books, and that movie was really, really good. I think it was called New York Trilogy or something trilogy. No, it's not that. Oh, here I go being all vague again, but I know it had Mandy Patinkin in it. It was a really good movie, and his writing, I read that book as well, and I really liked it. Full of kind of like mystery and a little bit of dread. But I don't think that's what his style is really about. So anyways, Paul Auster died, and if you haven't checked out some of his books, and I would encourage you to go ahead and get at least one, and see what his writing was like. I started watching the Eurovision contest, thanks to Morton Assad, and so far there have been 2 episodes, and I think the third one and final one is tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow, but it's extra money. But it won't be. I think it's on during the day, but I'm seeing it in rerun, like not a rerun, but I'm seeing it recorded, not live. In any event, so I watched the first one. It was a lot of fun. I know I got some comments about how the Eurovision is, pretty trashy and it's not real and it's all lip sync and all that stuff. I still really enjoyed it. It was fun. I look at it as kind of a theater piece. Now, it is, when you watch it, it's 2.5 hours, and it's really long. And I started watching the second one, and it was when I was sick, and I put it on, and I had come home from work, and I just conked out. So it wasn't because it was that bad. It was just I wasn't feeling well. So I actually have to catch up on that one, and then I have to watch the third one. But what I really want to do is I want to pick my 5 favorite songs from the list. And before I see the finale and know who won, I want to see if one of my songs was the one that made it all the way to the end. So if you are interested in that, would you please let me know in the comments? I mean, what I would do is I would try to include a short clip from the song so that you could hear it a little bit of my 5 favorites. But I have to tell you that I am really enjoying these pop songs. I think it's about a 3-hour list. It might be something like that. And I'm enjoying most of the songs. They're really fun. Like the first time I listened to it, I thought it was rap heavy, but it's not really. And I got used to the songs pretty quickly, and I'm singing along with a lot of them. So they're very, very catchy. So I thank Morton Assad for sending me the link to the playlist, because I've been enjoying it all this week. And I'm very curious to know which one will be crowned the number 1, the Eurovision contest winner. I am most likely going to be a guest on a really famous YouTuber's channel, Sleepy Reader. And I know that if I'm able to get on his show, it's going to like shoot my rankings right through the stratosphere. So I'm just hoping. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to happen yet, but what we will do is basically a show and tell. But I have actually gotten a lot this week, and I think I'm going to have too much for his show. So I just picked two things that I'm going to show off that I'm not going to show on his show. I also was not having any albums, and I decided to stop at Gimme Records after work today, and I did end up picking up like 6 albums, and so I'll be able to show those off for my vinyl loving community. But I was on Whatnot and Whatnot, or is it WhatsApp? No, Whatnot. And I bought a bunch of books, and the guy had this, and he was selling his books for $1. And I was like, are you selling that? And he was like, I wasn't going to sell it because some of the books, you know, the spines are crinkled. And I said to him, you know what, I'll take it. I don't care, because I think I got this for either $3 or $4. And I loved this series. So this is the Raj Quartet by Paul Scott. It actually, the reason I know about this is because there was a coda written called Staying On, and that one won the Booker Prize. So before I read that one, I went ahead and read all of these. Now, this is a long time ago, and I loved it. And I would someday really like to reread this, but it is really nice just having this set. Now, I've seen this set in the stores before, right? Used bookstores, and they usually want about 15, and I've always kind of like, I never, bit the bullet. But for $3 or $4, I was like, no, put that in my cart. I definitely want it. Again, they're not perfect, and one seems to be a little bit bigger than the other one. This one is like really touching the top. So who knows if this is the actual real set that goes with this box, but I'm very happy to get this. And something else that I bought through eBay was the collected short stories of W. Somerset Maugham. So I talked about a book that I had read or listened to that was about Maugham's history a little bit. And I don't want to get into all that because I'll just be vague and rambling like I always am. But I went ahead and got these, and I really do love the art on these covers, and I definitely need to start reading some of them. The funny thing is, like, look at the difference in size. Like, this one is gigantic, and then this one is like half. So I'm wondering why they didn't just, make them equal. So here is number 1, number 2. Number 2 has got like a kind of weird bend to it. So I think I'm going to have to put it flat and then put like a really heavy book on it to get it to lie flat. But I was so happy. I did not pay much for these. I think maybe $18 for all of them. And I was checking on Amazon, and one of them cost $15 to $16, and so that I thought that was a really good deal for these books, and I love Penguin books. So those are 2 things that I won't show in my show and tell. Okay, so I have 3 books to talk about and 2 movies, so pretty short night. I do want to say that I have been working on my list. So during testing a couple of the days, I was just stamping, and I'm going through my books and I'm adding them. But I was able to get all the way to 1,000, and then I have an additional page. But that I stamped 1,000 numbers. So now I just got to fill them in to see where my collection is. And before I buy any more DAWs, I'm going to finish this. Although that's a lie, because I was bad. I jumped on, and I actually bought 5 more DAWs, and I'm waiting for them to come. But no more. Not until I get this finished am I going to go and buy any more DAWs for my collection. But having said that, a while ago, I bought this. I bought it just for the color, and it was before I knew what I was really doing. And the bad thing is it's blank pages. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this? It's going to be really bad for me to write because my handwriting is so bad. So I decided to just make it a sticker book. And I had these Chiquita Bananas stickers, and I'm kicking myself because I had some more from another. They had another set of artists, I think, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I finally just threw them away. And like I said, I'm kicking myself. But right now they have what's called Pop by Nature, and they're just these like different kind of like pop artists colors. So I went online and I looked, and these are actually collectibles. And there was Dole Bananas, I think, had a Marvel set, and they had a Disney set of 54 different Disney characters, and it's just weird and fascinating, everything that people collect. So Dole Chiquita Banana stickers, who knew, right? And so what I wanted to do was, since I'm making this a sticker book, I have my DJ Trish sticker, so I'm going to do this live. I'm just going to go ahead and peel this. I can't get it unpeeled. Sorry, everybody. So I've got my DJ Trish sticker, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it right in the book. I'm going to put it right here and inaugurate this sticker book with one of my favorite YouTubers. And I'm a little bit behind on most videos right now, so DJ Trish, I'm going to get caught up. I know you put one out last night, and I'm going to watch it soon. Okay, I've just been feeling under the weather. But there you go, a DJ Trish sticker and Chiquita Banana stickers. You're probably thinking Garage Geek is crazy. All right, let's move on. So we'll talk about movies first. So I watched 2 movies, Spaceman, which is on Netflix, and it stars Adam Sandler. So I do have a picture of that. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but not really, because anytime you open up anything about this movie, it just tells you. So Adam Sandler is on a solo mission when he comes across this spider creature in his spaceship. And it's a really, really good movie. You don't know ever if this spider thing is real or if he's imagining it, and it's part of the intrigue of the movie. And it ends up, it doesn't really matter if he's having this conversation with himself or if it's with another creature. It's still a really, really intriguing movie, and the spider creature is freaky. And the weirdest thing is it's got this little mouth that moves, and it's the voice is Paul Dano, and he's really good. So Spaceman, I'm gonna recommend it. It's not gonna have as much action as some people might like. I guess it might be more cerebral. It does have a lot to do with the relationship back on Earth, and that's the only thing to me that drags. His wife wants to leave him while he's in the middle of this mission, and he's all alone. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense why she's doing that, and they make that part of the explanation, like, why are you doing this? And then they go in the past and they talk about why, and it all makes sense. But I was just like one of the characters asks her, is like, why can't you just wait till he gets back? Like, why are you torturing him while he's all alone, all the way out, in space? Like, and that's a valid question. I was like, ladies, stop. But anyways, it drives the narrative of the movie, and I guess that's more important. So there you go. That freaky spider creature was Spaceman. Loved it. Another movie that I saw was It Came from Hell. This was a movie from 1957, and when I heard about this movie, I was like, I gotta watch this. So what happens is these native people, they they kill a guy, and by stabbing in the heart, and he's like on the ground, and he's tied to the ground, and then they stab him in the heart, and then they bury him standing up, and they bury him in his. I guess they put him in a box, like a wooden box, and that box becomes like the tree root, and this tree grows amazingly fast, and this tree starts walking around and getting revenge. And this is one of those movies that kind of bothers me. So really, really old movies will spend so much time talking and then have like 5 minutes of action. And they do it because they're low budget, right? So the whole movie, they're just sitting there talking yak, 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 yak. And you're just like, whatever, it's okay. You know, so you finally get to the action. It's like 5 minutes long. The tree's walking around. It's hilarious. The tree throws people in bogs, and it's that part of the movie is great because it's silly. It's just this tree is just shambling around, and anybody could run away from it if they really tried. So there's the frontispiece. I took that from the TV screen. It's on Tubi, so it's free to watch. Oh, it's called From Hell It Came, not It Came From Hell. And so I don't know if I could recommend this because if you want to watch this, watch the part where the guy is getting like killed, and then jump ahead to the end where the tree starts walking around, because you're gonna have just a lot of dialogue in the middle that is just silly and you don't need it, but they had to flesh out the movie. So 1957, From Hell It Came. Oh, when I was in the record store, I saw this, and I wrote my husband. I was like, MDNA by Madonna. It was even opened, and it was going for $200. And I was like, we have that, don't we? And he's like, yeah. And I don't know why that album was going for $200. I should have asked, but $200 for that Madonna album, MDNA, called Madonna MDNA. Weird. And there was one more thing I wanted to show. There was this crazy record picture. Now I got to do this. I have to be careful about that. Oh wait, I gotta hold it just right. No, I better hold up a picture. Yeah, like that. His album cover was hilarious. Like he's full on naked, and yeah, he's got this. It's very small, hairy member on this album cover. And when I was going through the thing, I was like, what the heck? I kind of wanted to buy it because it's art. But it was $50. And I'm like, man, his little pecker isn't worth $50. Wait, that sounded rude. If you're out there and you have a small pecker, I'm not meaning to put you down. As long as it works, it's fine. But I didn't want to pay $50 for that one. So let's I better I better move on from that. So those are the two movies that I saw. And where's my little list? Here we go. So the last thing I want to talk about. I've also been watching the Andy Griffith Show. So we were watching the vampire show. What's that one called? In the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows. We're on season 3. I think we finished season 3. And we were just getting ready to start season 4 when our Hulu got shut off. So we have somebody's code. We share codes, and Hulu got shut off, so we couldn't watch it. So I was like, hey, we were on Peacock. I was looking at something. I was like, let's just watch the Andy Griffith Show. And we started watching it, and my husband actually really likes it. So we're on like the 6th episode, and I'm really getting into it too. Now, the funny thing about the Andy Griffith Show is, when I was young, I remember there were a lot of musical numbers in it, and I hated it. I was so bored. But now I'm looking forward to them so much. So they've only done 2 so far, and I'm waiting for more. So anyways, the Andy Griffith Show. But I read, let's see if there were any Oh, I wanted to say I came across this picture on Facebook. This gave me like nightmares. This scene is so chilling. I saw this as a kid. Do any of you know what that's from? I'll give you a second. So this is from The Fly, the movie The Fly. Now the Fly movie, the original one, where the guy goes into a transporter machine and a fly gets in there and their DNAs get fused. So he's like half fly. He's got like a fly head and a fly hand. Of course, they remade it, and the remake is so good. Um, but this one, like the rest of the movie is tolerable. It's fine. But there's a scene at the end of this movie that is so freaking traumatizing for me as a kid. I was like, I don't know how old I was, like 4 or 5 when I saw this for the first time. And I never, ever forgot this scene. I bet if I watch it now, it's silly. I don't want to watch it. It's too scary. So if you don't know, the fly, we don't know what happened to the fly, right? So the human goes into the machine and he comes out with a fly head. So there was a fly flying around somewhere with a human head. And at the very end of the movie, they're all like, la da da. They're sitting there and they look down in the spider web and there's this screaming. It's a fly. It's trapped in a web and it's screaming in this horrible voice, help me! It's so awful. And this giant spider's coming up on it. I'm sorry, but that freaked me out. I don't know if I could ever watch this movie again. So I came across that picture on Facebook and I was like all traumatized all over again. No, not really. But that was a horrific scene to see as a kid. I really need to buy this movie now and watch it. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since. So let's go back to the books. I'll start with this one, Harrow the Ninth. So this is the second book in this series that I think the third one was nominated for Hugo Award. So I decided to, listen to the whole series. Now these books are super long. This one was 20 hours. And in fact, I still have an hour and a half left. But I figured I'd go ahead and review it tonight because, I'm going to finish it tomorrow anyway. The thing is, this is really well written, but it's got so many characters, and I get lost because I don't know. It's like really frenetic. It's like things are happening all the time. There's so many characters, and then there's characters within characters. So there'll be like people taking over one character and talking through them, and like I don't know if I like that invested in it. First of all, it's 20 hours long, this book, and it's the second book. And it's just like so much going on. But I do have to say that the writing is really well done. And there were parts of this that are very gripping and I wanted to know what happened. I would be on the edge of my seat. But overall, I'm just kind of like waiting for it to be done. So I'd have to say maybe maybe 3.5 to 4. This is probably a series that I should probably pay closer attention to, but just all the characters and the frenetic pace, and also I don't know like the motivations, like why everybody is doing things. And it's not the writer's fault. It's just like they probably mentioned it in the first book at the beginning, and I'm supposed to remember it now, and I don't know. That does not sound like a glowing review. Okay, let's move on. So, the other 2 books that I'm going to talk about are these. So, I actually finished this one last week, and I finished this one this week. So, I'm doing my book a week challenge. And I mentioned this last week, but I forgot to describe it. So, this is Brian M. Stableford's The Florians. And after reading this, I found out that this is actually the first of 6 books. And I enjoyed this so much that I absolutely want to read the rest. Let me go ahead and move my iPad. So basically, this is like an extended Star Trek episode. But it was really a really fun read. The idea is that the Earth is in a lot of trouble. There's, apocalyptic goings on, so the Earth can't support people. So all these colony ships leave Earth and they establish colonies. There's a whole bunch of them. And about 2 or 3 generations later, Earth finally has enough money and resources that they're able to send a ship out, and it's supposedly a science vessel. And they're going to make contact with each of the colonies to see how they're doing. Now, this is the second voyage. They mentioned the first voyage in the beginning of the book. And the first ship went to 6 of the colonies, and 5 were doing okay, and 1 was just gone. Like, they had died out. They didn't survive. So when they got there. So this is the first stop of this new mission, and they stop at the first planet, and the people there are freakishly large, like gigantic. And since they're a space crew, they're a science crew, they're there to help the people and to give any scientific aid that they might need. And so it starts from there. It gets complicated, problems arise. Like I said, it's very much like a Star Trek episode, and that's a good thing. I really ended up enjoying this book a lot. I do want to see where this goes, because they're going to go stop at different planets, those different colonies, to see how they work, how the colonization process worked. I should say that the problem arises because the people in the colony they question their motives. They think they're there because they're scouting to see if the colony works, so that they can bring more people from Earth to colonize the rest of the planet. And the colonizers don't consider themselves a colony of Earth anymore. They consider themselves to be the owners of this planet, and they consider themselves independent, and they do not want reestablished contact with Earth, and they do not want more colonists to arrive. And it was a very valid point to question their motives. And so that's where the problem in this book arises. It really, really, really good book. I was surprised and very delighted when I read this. I went online to find the others in the series, and they do have them, but a lot of them, like the covers were bent or what. So I'm waiting, because I would like to get the next one in the series, but of course I want to pay a decent price, and I want to get a nice copy to go for my collection. So the next book, this was Dawn number 211. So the next book that I read was Cosmic Crusaders. So I don't know if you remember. This is Dawn number 414. I don't know if you remember, but I actually read another book by Pierre Barbet, and it was called Baphomet's Meteor. And this actually contains Baphomet's Meteor and the sequel. Now, this book by itself, I guess, was never published by itself. It was just when the new book came out, or was translated, they just lumped them together. So I have the original book, and then I have this lumped together version. I'm very glad to have it, because I really wanted to read this book. So in the quick recap of the first book, it's the Middle Ages, around the time of the Crusades, around the end of like the 1100s, near the end of that. This book, the second book, takes place around 1270. So it's the time of the Crusades. It's alternate history where an alien, telepathic alien with advanced technology, crashes on Earth and needs to manipulate Earthlings in order to stay alive. So he gives certain Earthlings advanced technology to win in battles, right, during the Crusades. so that that alien can, basically get what he wants from it. He really does. I think he wants to become the controller of all of Earth, but he ends up being thwarted. Now, in the second book, which is called Stellar Crusade, and together they're called Cosmic Crusaders. The second book, which is the one I read for this week, the Earthlings fear that this alien race that was just a scout, and that they're going to come and invade. And so they want to head that off, and they want to take the fight to the aliens. Now, the thing about this is that once they get the technology, like these are, people from the Middle Ages, and they're suddenly given space travel and all this advanced technology, and they get it. Like almost a century before they would, not a century, like 1,000. What am I saying? A century, 1,000 years before they would normally get it. And so that's where the fun of this book comes in, because you've got the people go on this space flight through the universe, but they're looking at it through the lens of Christians from the Middle Ages, and they're trying to get their idea of their place in the universe with God to fall into this new idea of all of space. And as they're going to these new planets, because along the way they stop and they try to liberate other planets that were enslaved by this alien race, and they want to fit the idea of Christ, that on every planet there should have been some type of Christ figure, and their culture, or they're going to spread the gospel. And this is where one of the major problems comes in. This part of the book is fascinating, because the initial people who go there, they want to free the people, but then the politics start taking over. And near the end of the book, I won't spoil too much, but it's really fascinating, because the original people, who they were very happy to free these enslaved peoples, but the Pope and other people, the zealots, they come and they take over, and they say, you're no longer needed here, we're going to take over. And they start setting up this like Inquisition, and they start like burning the native inhabitants at this, at the stake and whatever, torturing them to get them to I'm forgetting the word, to become Christians, right? They're not proselytizing, they're converting all these aliens through force. It's really fascinating, and it's just it's quite horrible, in fact. So I ended up enjoying this book a lot more so than the first one, because the idea of like the debates that the people have about the idea of Christ and Christianity when confronted with all this advanced technology and all these alien races, and how they would like form their ideas, their theology into what was going on to justify it. Fascinating. This guy did a great job. So I picked two in these last 2 weeks that I could really recommend. I enjoyed these so much. So again, this is Pierre Barbet, if you want to just get both, if I didn't spoil it too much. Number 414. So there's I'm showing the close-up of that because that's the number. And then the Florians, if you like Star Trek, you might like this. This one is number 211. And I believe that is the end of my show. Like, I have a lot to show you, like I said, but I'm going to save that for my show and tell. Well, it's actually going to be, I believe it's going to be on Sleepy Reader's channel. So look forward to that, because I think now when you do a live, I think we're going to do it live. if or we might, I don't know if we record it, but if we do it live, I think I can put a notification onto my channel so that my viewers can jump on that. But I believe it's going to be tomorrow night. So look forward to that notification. Or if not, just check Sleepy Reader 666's channel to see our show and tell. So I want to thank everybody for coming along with me on this ride, and I'm looking around to see if I have anything else. And yeah, I just want to thank you, and I want to remind you all, of course, to please be more intelligent.